私も思い切って言うね。うん。ピカリは私に楽しいことをいっぱい教えてくれるけど、それでいいのかなって。
ダメなの？
ダメって言うんじゃなくて、いつかピカリと離れ離れになる日が来た時、このままの私じゃ空っぽだから、自分の力で楽しいことを見つけなきゃって思って。
てこすごい。私考えたこともなかった、そんなことは。
Hey everybody, welcome to another lesson of learning Japanese. Today we're going to be covering another anime line of the day. And we are starting something that is a bit special here. What we're going to do is, for the first time pretty much, we're going to analyze a whole scene from an anime. Maybe not the whole scene, but most of the scene. And this is a pretty long scene. It's going to be like more than like 5 minutes or something. And obviously what we're gonna do is we're gonna have to cover this in parts for a number of reasons. We don't want to make each lesson way too long, and we don't want to use too long of a clip from the show to play in case showing too much of an episode of anime is too infringing of copyright. And so the show that we're going to be taking our scene from is going to be the show Amanchu. And this is going to be from the second season of the show, Amanchu Advance. A somewhat fitting subtitle there because this is quite an advanced lesson or group of lessons that we're going to be covering. So what I'm going to have to do here is probably going to have to explain the context because this is a very loaded scene. This show revolves around two characters, two female coming of age characters basically, and they become really good friends. One of them is kind of the really outgoing type, and the other is kind of the timid type. And the outgoing one, Pikari, has shown the more timid one, Teko, how to basically kind of live life more fun. She keeps showing her fun things, and they've already gone on a number of, you know, fun slice of life adventures, and now they're having this really poignant reflection scene about their friendship and, you know, how one day they might not be together anymore, so the timid one has to kind of learn how to be someone who can find fun in life by herself. So the specific context here is that Pikari had organized this kind of event to go deep sea diving, but the timid one, Teko, actually rejected her invitation to go, and Teko reveals the reason why she didn't take her up on her offer to go with her. It's because she didn't want to keep following her pace because she would get too comfortable with having her make the fun in her life, so she had to go on her own and do something on her own to make her own life fun.
思い切って言っちゃおうかな。
何？
よし、言っちゃおう。テコが今日のダイビングに行かないって言った時、ちょっとだけドキッとした。
ドキッと？
私が一人で突っ走っちゃってテコの気持ちに気づいてなかったかなって。でもまさかばあちゃんの手伝いをしたかったとはね。
それもあるけど、あの時はね、急に不安になっちゃったっていうか。
The clip that we've provided here, it has a decent amount of the context. Some of the lines that we aren't going to cover express that context that I just said, so definitely worthwhile to check them out, even though we're not going to focus on them. The part that we're going to skip to, the line that we're going to skip to and focus on first is Pikari wa watashi ni tanoshii koto o ippai oshiete kureru kedo, sore de ii no kana te. This is going to translate to, Pikari, you're always showing me so many fun things, but I don't know if that's alright.
ピカリは私に楽しいことをいっぱい教えてくれるけど、それでいいのかなって。
So yeah, as you can see, we've skipped past most of the context and we've gone straight to the line where she's doing this kind of confession to her friend. So let's break down this line first and foremost. So first up, we just have the word Pikari, which is the name of the outgoing girl that she's talking to, her best friend pretty much. We're marking Pikari with a topic marker wa. We have after that watashi, which means I, of course. It's being used by the speaker to refer to themselves. It's going to be followed by the particle ni because it's basically saying to me. After that, we have the word tanoshii, which is the adjective that means fun. It's going to be modifying the noun right after it, which is the word koto, which means thing. Or in this case, it's a plural, so things. So tanoshii koto is going to be fun things. We have the direct object marker O right after it to mark it as the direct object of the verb that we're about to use. Before the verb shows up, we're actually going to stick an adverb in there. ippai, which is going to translate to basically a lot, a bunch basically. Then the verb that we're going to be using is the verb oshieru, which means to teach, or in this case to show. It's going to be conjugated into its te form, the connective form, because we want to use it in the grammar pattern where we're using a verb with a giving verb to emphasize something is being done for someone, or you're receiving the favor of that verb being done. The giving/receiving verb that we're going to use with it is kureru. So yeah, this is the giving verb that we use when we want to express that someone does an action, gives me the favor of doing that action to me, the speaker. So oshiete kureru, when we translate this concept of Japanese into English, we aren't really capable of literally translating it without sounding unnatural, so we just say basically, you taught me, as opposed to something wordy like you did me the favor of teaching something. Yeah. So Pikari wa watashi ni tanoshii koto o ippai oshiete kureru is going to be literally, Pikari, you do me the favor of showing me a bunch of fun things, is pretty much what that translates to.
ピカリは私に楽しいことをいっぱい教えてくれるけど、それでいいのかなって。
Right after that, we have the word kedo, which is basically a conjunction that means but. So you show me all that stuff, but それでいいのかな? Sore, of course, is the demonstrative noun that means that, so that is referring to basically the act of you showing me these things. We have the particle de there to basically act as an instrument marker, and then the word I, which is going to mean, of course, okay, good. So sore de I is going to be, it's good as that, or things as they are as that, good. But we turn this into a question by having the particles no and kana, and of course kana is just this sentence ending combination of particles that expresses that you're wondering about that statement you just said. And then we have that hard te particle there to mark it as the whole thing, as an idea. So then Pikari wa watashi ni tanoshii koto o ippai oshiete kureru kedo, sore de ii no kana? And that's going to translate to something like, I just have this thought of whether it's really okay that you show me all of these fun things. Something along those lines.
ピカリは私に楽しいことをいっぱい教えてくれるけど、それでいいのかなって。
Okay, so that's one line covered. We're going to cover one other one, but before that, we're going to have to basically skim through the lines in between them. So I'm going to say these lines, but I'm not going to break them down, and we'll provide the English translation just so you know the context. So after Teko says that, Pikari replies, Dame nano, and this is just basically saying, is that no good?
ダメなの?
Teko then replies, dame te yun janakute.
ダメって言うんじゃなくて。
And that's going to translate to basically, no, it's not that it's not good, it's just that ... And now we're going to analyze the next line, which is,
いつかピカリと離れ離れになる日が来た時、このままの私じゃ空っぽだから、自分の力で楽しいことを見つけなきゃって思って。
And this is going to be our main line of focus for this part 1 of the lesson. This line is going to translate to, when the time comes and we have to part ways, someday I'll be left empty if I stay the way I am. So I figured I had to learn how to find fun things by myself. So there is a very poignant line for us to analyze now. So let's jump into it and break it down. First up, we have the word Itsuka, and this is just, of course, going to be basically the word when. Right after that, we have the word Pikari, which is the name of the person she's talking to, of course. We have the particle to to mark Pikari as basically with. Next up, we have this rather funny tongue twistery word hanarebanare, which is going to translate to basically separate or scattered. It can be used as a noun or a no adjective or a na adjective. Here we're going to be using it with the grammar pattern that is the ni naru grammar pattern, which means to become. So hanarebanare ni naru is going to mean to become scattered, to be separated, to become separated. And a lot of what we just covered in the sentence so far, the parts pikari to hanarebanare ni naru, is actually going to be part of a clause that modifies the noun that appears next, which is just the word hi, which means day. So pikari to hanarebanare ni naru hi is going to be the day that I become separated with you, Pikari. Now we mark that day as the subject with the particle ga, and then it's going to be performing an action now, which is the word kuru, which means to come in its past ta form, kita. And so then that'll be like basically day has come. And so once again, what we're going to do now is we're going to take this, most of what we've covered, Itsuka Pikari to hanarebanare ni naru日がきた, and that's going to be a whole clause modifying the next noun, which is going to be the word toki. And this can kind of just be considered its own grammar pattern, something. Toki means when something. But yeah, in the translation, it can be when the day, when we have to separate whatever comes, or you can interpret it as the time when the day where we have to split comes.
いつかピカリと離れ離れになる日が来た時、このままの私じゃ空っぽだから、自分の力で楽しいことを見つけなきゃって思って。
So our sentence is not complete yet. We've established basically a time when the thing comes. Now we have to say what happens or whatever needs to be done or whatever when that happens. So we're actually not going to have only just 2 clauses in the sentence. There's basically going to be 3. Let's move on. We have the words kono mama. And this is actually a grammar pattern. Mama translates to basically state or condition. A lot of times kono mama is translated to like something like at this rate. In this case, it's gonna make more sense to just be like if I stay the way I am or if I don't change how I am. You'll see how we include the I there because kono mama is being used in a noun of noun modification with the particle no right there. Then the second noun is watashi. So kono mama no watashi is going to be basically the I of this current state, basically. Right after that, we have the ja, which is just basically a shortened form of dewa. We have the word karappo, which means empty, vacant, hollow. And then we finish that clause with the copula da, and then kara, which of course means because. So kono mama no watashi ja karappo dakara is going to be because the current me is empty.
このままの私じゃ空っぽだから。
And now we say what the cause to this reason is, basically.
自分の力で楽しいことを見つけなきゃって思って。
And we have another noun of a noun modification here, jibun no chikara, which is going to be my own power. Jibun means myself, oneself. Chikara means power. Then we have the instrument marker de, so basically that'll mean with my own power. Following that, we have familiar phrasing here, tanoshii koto. We know that means fun thing or fun things. Then we have the verb mitsukeru, which means to find or to discover. So it looks like the direct object marker o is dropped here, but this is obviously referring to fun things. So finding fun things, discovering fun things. Tanoshii koto, mitsukeru. Mitsukeru is going to be conjugated to a certain form though, and that is the nakya form. This here is basically the shortened form of the grammar pattern that is the nakereba narenai or nakereba ikenai grammar pattern, which means basically I have to do something or I can't afford to not do something along those lines. So this is basically saying I have to find fun things on my own or with my own power. And then we mark that whole thing right there with the hard te to mark it as a thought. And then we actually have the thought verb show up, omo, which means to think, in its te form, because we're kind of leaving the sentence unfinished to imply that something else comes after. So that's the whole line right there. Let's wrap it all up together. It's basically 3 separate parts. Itsuka Pikari to hanarebanare ni naru日がきた時、このままの私じゃからっぽだから、自分の力で楽しいことをoops, I accidentally added the O in there. mitsukenakya te omotte. And this is going to translate to basically when the time comes and we have to part ways someday, I'll be left empty if I stay the way I am. So I figured I had to learn how to find fun things by myself. That's going to be our natural translation for the line.
いつかピカリと離れ離れになる日が来た時、このままの私じゃ空っぽだから、自分の力で楽しいことを見つけなきゃって思って。
And just for the heck of it, we'll cover some of the lines said right after it without breaking them down, just translating them to provide some context, because we are going to have to follow up this lesson with the next one that continues this conversation, because there's still a lot of loaded, poignant lines to be covered in this scene. So in responding to that line just said by Teko, Pikari says, Teko sugoi, which is just saying, oh wow, Teko, you're amazing.
てこすごい。
Teko then says, which is just basically, huh? Then Pikari says, watashi kangaeta koto mo nakatta sonna koto. And that's just basically saying, the thought of that never even crossed my mind, or I never even thought about something like that.
私考えたこともなかったそんなことは。
Okay, so we will be resuming this coverage of this scene with the part 2. Before we end this lesson, of course, we're going to have to review the grammar patterns that we came across with the 2 lengthy lines that we covered.
私も思い切って言うね。うん。ピカリは私に楽しいことをいっぱい教えてくれるけど、それでいいのかなって。
ダメなの？
ダメって言うんじゃなくて、いつかピカリと離れ離れになる日が来た時、このままの私じゃ空っぽだから、自分の力で楽しいことを見つけなきゃって思って。は
あ、てこすごい。私考えたこともなかったそんなことは。
So in the first line, we started off, we had an e adjective modifying a noun. We had the te form of a verb with oshieru turning into oshiete, then being used in the grammar pattern that is a giving, receiving verb being used with the te form of a verb to express that whole Japanese concept of doing something, and it's considered like doing someone a favor, giving someone something, or receiving someone else's action that's kind of favorable. In this case, we use kureru, which is basically to give, but it has the nuance of someone giving something to you, the speaker. We had the conjunction kedo to mean but, then we had some particle uses, the de as instrument marker, kana as the sentence-ending particle to express kind of a thought, I wonder, something like that, trailing thought. In the second line, we had the grammar pattern that is the ni naru grammar pattern, which means to become. We used it with hanarebanare, which means to become separated. We had 2 clauses modifying nouns with the hanarebanare ni naru hi, and then that whole super clause modifying toki. In another interpretation, you could just consider toki as a grammar pattern to mean when. We had the past plain form of a verb with kuru turning into kita, which means turns it from to come to basically have come. Next, we had the mama grammar pattern, which is basically indicating a state or state or a condition. So if you stay at that state or condition, something happens, or we had some noun of a noun modifications. We had the conjunction kara to mean because. Then second to last, we had the nakya grammar pattern, which is a shortened, more casual version of nakereba naranai or nakereba ikenai, which means basically have to do that verb. Then last but not least, we quoted everything inside of thought basically and used to omo. In this case, the to is replaced with the hard te because just more casual, and the omo, which means to think. So there you have it. That's going to be our lesson 1 of this scene from the show Amanchu Advance. This is from the first episode of the 2nd season, and we will be back to continue this. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed learning some things from here. Hopefully you digested all the information well, because we'll need it as context when we go into part 2.
私も思い切って言うね。うん。ピカリは私に楽しいことをいっぱい教えてくれるけど、それでいいのかなって。
ダメなの？
ダメって言うんじゃなくて、いつかピカリと離れ離れになる日が来た時、このままの私じゃ空っぽだから、自分の力で楽しいことを見つけなきゃって思って。は
あ、てこすごい。私考えたこともなかったそんなことは。
Alright, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Anime Line of the Day. Remember, if there were grammar patterns mentioned for this line, they'll be mentioned in the description or the pinned comment below with links to the individual lessons on them. You can also probably find them in the playlist of our complete grammar video series shown on the screen right here alongside our anime playlist. And last but not least, don't forget to try to translate the bonus line we provided. Leave your translation in a comment below. Check out our Patreon, like the video, and subscribe. With all that said and done, see you next time.